Hi there, and welcome to Game 2 of the February National League tournaments here in the UK, being hosted at HADO in Coventry. So this match is between Rockhoppers, who will be playing on red, and the Boss on blue. And we'll follow our standard 7-game format for league matches. If you don't know what that is, how it works, want a bit more detail, please go and check out our video that's part of the series that goes into more depth and talks you through the rules and formats and ideas behind each of the rounds. If you're ready to get into the game, though, or you already know what you're looking at, let's get it on. So we have Rockhoppers playing on red versus the Boss on blue. And this is our 3v3 freestyle. So it's a standard unrestricted match. Let's see how they go. So plenty of open fire from both sides. Both teams looking to play off the back wall heavily at this stage, maximising their evasion time. First points on the board though for Rockhoppers, coming up on 20 seconds played. Boss slowly chipping down those the Rockhopper life markers. Rockhoppers using the distance though to good effect to keep themselves mobile, maintaining that 1 point lead. It's 2-1 now, coming up on the halfway mark. Rockhoppers still now slowly chipping away at the Boss. Moving up to a 3-point lead now. Boss really going to have to pull something out of the bag here to pull this back. 5-2, 30 seconds left on the clock. It's perfectly doable, but nice shield play from the Boss there. Rockhoppers really failing to set those shields down with any sort of speed. And it's definitely sort of broken up the flow of their game a little. And Boss has pulled this back. 5-all, 6-5 now, 7-5, 10 seconds remaining. Boss have flipped this game entirely. Can they hold on to that lead? Coming to the dying seconds now, and they're not just holding on to it, they're extending it, and that is a fantastic first game win in this series there for the Boss. Great cluster of scores there in the second half of the match from the Boss. Really good use of those shields, just seemed to break up the play from Rockhoppers. Didn't see any real heavy focus fire on them to get rid of them, which is what you'd expect to see. Generally all good there from the Boss. See something obviously going wrong there for Slender on Rockhoppers. 0 knockouts, 6% actually. I mean, 35 shots fired, plenty of shots going out, but just not seeming to. So we'll try and keep an eye on him as we go through the replay, see if we can see what went so wrong for him there.
Yeah, taking notice, you've got all players going for sort of speed build. Apart from one player on the Boss taking speed 5, which is interesting.
Yeah, but obviously sacrificing scale, but not that it seemed to have been a significant problem for them here. So then the Rockhoppers getting that really early point score lead, and then the Boss managing to flip it back the other way. It was a really nice play from them. And as you said during the main commentary, the shield usage from the Boss just breaking up the whole game flow of the gameplay for Rockhoppers. Rockhoppers not focus firing their shields, getting rid of them. I mean, they weren't strong shields. They should have been smashed through almost instantly, and they weren't. And it just seemed to break the flow up. Yeah. We've got some here to shields points, and you just watch that and just going. I mean, they're not up for a huge amount of time, but it was enough just to break the flow the flow of play for Rockhoppers. Give the Boss the breathing space they needed to get themselves back together and flip the momentum of the game.
Yeah, both teams working on the sort of back line. It was at that point Rockhoppers needed to be on that front line, get that kill, get that point.
Yeah, they needed to get more aggressive at that point, and sort of close down to take the game. Oh. Right, move to us across for game 2. So game 2 is the scale 1 game. Lots of small shots, lots of accuracy, generally lower point score, lower percentage on your hit rates, but harder to catch up if your opponents start opening any kind of reasonable lead on you. So again, both teams favouring the back wall here, slowly chipping each other away. You're pretty much forced to take out your opponent's one life marker at a time, because you can't, with the scale 1, you can't get the one-shot takedowns on the centre of the target. Again, Rockhoppers going for a standard meta across the team. Boss just a little bit of variation there, some slower speeds, shot speeds, and higher charge rate. 1 point apiece. It's just past the halfway mark. Rockhopper's just edging ahead again by a single point. But a lot of life markers down on both sides there, and Boss bringing it back to even. But Shield usage to try and break the flow up again. Shield usage here is really not an effective option. The charge rates that generally both flying around on both teams make shields almost obsolete. Boss just holding on to that 1 point lead, pulling it back as Rockhopper scan after them. Now it's ending with a 2 point lead in the last couple of seconds. Really nice finish there from the Boss. Seeing a single very strong player there from the Boss's boss. When your maximum hit rate is 17%, it just shows how hard it is to hit with those scale 1 shots. Really difficult, especially against players with strong evasion. Again, something not happening right for Slender, Red 2 there from Rockhoppers. Very by far and away the lowest on their accuracy and setups there. So let's flip across to the replay on this one.
Yeah, both teams sort of opting to play against that back wall again.
I mean, it's very tempting in the scale 1 game. There's so many shots and they're coming so fast. You really do need to try and give yourself as much space and time to think and evade as you can. But obviously that just makes it so much harder for everyone to get those hits and tag those life markers down as they're going.
So it's really good. I think is it Rockhoppers that do get the first point in this game?
Yeah, it is. I mean, as with game 1, Rockhoppers look like they're in a strong position at the start of the match. First half of it, they're commanding the field well. They're getting the early points on the board. They're moving ahead of the Boss, and then the Boss just absolutely, hit the accelerator in those last 15-20 seconds of the match and just take the whole thing completely out of Rockhopper's reach.
Yeah, I think it's player number 5 that Boss's boss sort of steps it up at the last point of the game and just gets all those kills at the end.
Yeah.
Just to increase that lead.
Yep, going really nicely on that.
Yep. Very nice.
So, prepping up now for game 3, which is our 2v2 freestyle. So, no restrictions on point scores. But obviously, that's shifting tactics now with a different number of players on the pitch. So, we've got Slender and Swift versus Noob and Player 6. So let's see if this is a better match for Slender. So it's not been obviously been some issues for them in those first couple of games.
Both popping up a shield, very nice.
Obviously you can play here. Teams very evenly matched at this stage. Rockhoppers, if anything, with a slight advantage in terms of the life markers, but Boss getting that next score in, taking themselves up to a 2-1 point advantage there. 30 seconds to play. Rockhoppers starting to move more and more towards the centre line, starting to get a bit more aggressive in their play style. Boss still very much heavily favouring that back wall. Nice evasion and head motion there from Boss player. Survived an awful lot of crossfire there before they finally got him. Boss again, just getting that point score there, just in the dying few seconds. Really nice play again from both teams. Looking fairly even for the first half of the game. And then just at the end again, Boss sort of pulling it away as they went through. So, what are your thoughts on this one?
Interesting as well. All going for speed on their shots, which I think is a good play so far. But there's definitely got to be some change in there in the future.
Yeah, I mean, the bit that I'm expecting to see is, and it's one of the things that we've talked about before, that the UK League's got some fantastic players on the classic assassin build. There's some reasonably good technicians out there, but we don't have a real standout shielder in the UK tournaments at the moment. And I think this focus on the assassin builds and these fast shot sizes but low charge rate, if we get someone who's put the work in and really mastered that defender role and the use of the shields, that could flip an awful lot of things, because teams just won't have the firepower to punch their way through those shields.
Yes. Taking a look at that boss player there, look, just evading all these shots.
Yeah, really, really nice play on that back wall. Yeah, I mean, just kind of encouraging the comedy. It was great play. Rockhoppers again took that initial lead. They had to push through. Again, things looked like they were going their way, and then Boss just flipping it around as it went forwards. So moving back to our next 3v3. This is game 4. This is our shields game. So there's a minimum 8 points of shields from each team. And that sort of 5-2-1 shield split coming through again. Shields being placed quite far back on the pitch, which really does to an extent limits their effectiveness. Because obviously, that shielded position means you can get so much closer to your opponents and be safe for at least a short period of time. So putting the shield further back on the pitch doesn't really get the shield to last any longer, but it increases the distance your shot's got to travel and therefore makes it easier for your opponent to dodge. Boss here with an early lead. It's the first one we're taking the lead in the early parts of the game. Good shield use from both sides so far, and good focus fire taking the shields down. Nothing's really staying in play for very long, which is good in terms of taking those defences down. And Rockover to pull it back 2 points apiece. Just past 20 seconds remaining. Boss again with that little cheeky point lift just to come into the last 10 seconds. Can the Boss fight back? Can they hold off this like final 10-second surge from the Boss? It's always used to be the hallmark of purely of IDK, but clearly this is something we're going to have to watch for from the Boss as well going forwards. Unsurprisingly, there are IDK's training partners, so yeah, definitely something that we're going to have to keep an eye out for going forwards on this one. So, thoughts on this one?
It's really, really good. Yeah, I like when you mentioned putting the shields on the back wall. We do need to put those shields a little bit further forward. Just so it helps your aggressive player move forward.
Yeah, I mean, it's the big advantage of the shield that you can move into a much closer position, therefore reducing your opponent's dodge time without necessarily putting yourself at the risk that close position would normally have. Because therefore you're reducing your opponent's dodge time, you're making it more likely to get a hit, therefore. So when you're using the shields, not placing them in that forward position, not bringing up close to the centre line, is limiting their effectiveness, and it's not making them last. It's not like they get taken down any quicker by being near the centre line, but it does improve your opportunity to hit.
Definitely. Taking a look at the stats as well from the Rockhoppers, they've got 1 more point on charge, so in theory they should shoot more shots as a team.
Yeah, I mean, neither of them have really heavily invested in charge rate. When you look at they've both got a charge 4, but no one's got a charge 5 out there. Yeah. And
you need that key player to get those shields down, to get through, to get to the other side, to get the points. Yeah.
I mean, you're almost looking for the meta of an assassin, a technician, and a defender across the board to make sure you've got really everything covered. But again, nice play. Another one for the Boss. Here we go. Game 5. So it's our 1v1 freestyle. So got Slender versus Mysterious Player 6.
Percy.
So we're on 4-2-3-1 and 4-3-2-1 respectively on the builds here. So both going for speed, just a slight variation in charge rate and shot size between the two players. Nice evasion movement from Rockhoppers there. Good hit.
Nice.
So Slender definitely wasn't playing to ability in the first couple of games of this series, but seems to be picking up as we go going through the match. But are we going to see that turnaround from the boss that they've managed to flip in on each of these games so far? The Rock-Uppers have seemed to be in this sort of confident position going into the first half, and then just had the boss flip it on them as they've come through.
Hopefully my vote's going to go for Rockhoppers to get in their first point this time.
They certainly deserve a point on the board. They've not been playing badly. It's just the boss each time, just in those dying seconds, just taking it away from them. But only one point on the board in total. 5 seconds left to play. And there's a Rockhoppers win. So that's first one on the board there for Rockhoppers. Let's have a look at it in a bit more detail.
Well done.
So for this one, again, boss playing right on that back wall, but Rockhoppers moving forward up into the centre part of their court area quite regularly. So getting more confident, more aggressive in the way in the play. The big problem being on that back wall, although it maximises your distance, it also inhibits your dodging capacity because you can't shift backwards. Obviously, you don't want to go straight line back because you want to go backwards on an angle, but you can't do that if you're on the back wall.
There's no space to go.
There's nowhere to go. So actually
sideways.
moving sort of like 1 metre, 2 metres forward off the back wall gives you significantly better dodging space.
In all directions, yeah.
Yep, yeah. Nice use there of the shield from Rockhoppers as well. You got that first point on, and you know your opponent's going to come back really strong as soon as they come back into play after that first knockout. So just using the shield to buy a bit of time, stop that first flurry of shots, and getting back onto a fairly sort of even situation.
We've taken a look at the distance moved as well for both players at the end of the game, and it was around the sort of 50 metres mark.
Yeah.
And they've got a lot more space. You've got the whole court to yourself. You can move a lot more. So as you say, coming forward a few metres gives you more flexibility to move more.
Yeah. Yeah, and obviously we're coming to the dying seconds now. You can see the aggression factors picking up from the boss player, going right up onto that centre line. Because if you're down the points, you may as well take the risk of moving forwards. Because obviously it does give you less dodging space, but it gives your opponent less dodging space too.
Yeah.
So game 6. This is the HADO 20. This is our 3v3 restricted points round. See what we've got on the meta. So both teams are playing on the meta that we saw in December. So a firepower player, an unboosted player, and a shield player. First points on the board there for Rockhoppers. 20 seconds playing. Nice scattering shots. Good use of central shields. And they seem to be holding out quite well there. It's definitely one of the advantages of dropping shields in on this match is that the rate of fire, therefore the charge rate, therefore rate of fire coming against you is a lot lower because of the reduced point levels. So even weaker shields can last for a much longer period of time. Now we've got Boss, which is down by a point. Just gone past the 30-second point. Boss starting to pull it back again. We're going to see another one of these turnarounds in the Boss. Where they sort of like accelerate away in the final quarter of the game. Rockhoppers slowly being chipped down. Boss holding quite a strong position there. Really great evasion there on the rear right of the court and on this front corner as well. So we're going to our first draw of this match. So overtime, you get 10 seconds to recover. First knockout on any player takes the game. You don't regain any life markers, shields, or anything else. You start as you finished. And this runs until someone lands a knockout. So these can be over in fractions of a second, or they can last almost longer than the main match. So great shot there coming up from Rockhoppers. Taking that match 3 points to 2, making it 2 games to 4 in this series. So, nice play all around there. Let's go have a look at the replay.
Very good game, well earned.
Yeah, nicely played. In the way they went through, good positioning of the shields. They were still probably could still have been further forward, but they were nicely and aggressively placed, nicely timed as well. They were quite well spread out throughout the match, which can be quite important. Obviously, if you drop all your shields right at the start, then you end up second half of the game with no defence and nothing to use. And you want them sort of nicely spread through. I mean, there was plenty of fire coming in from the boss. The shields didn't last that long; they just lasted long enough to basically just clip away at those life markers on the boss and bring Rockhoppers into a leading position again for that first half. And then again, this fight back again from the boss, leveling it back up.
So you do get fixated on the player that's got one life marker. And
it's so tempting because you think, I just got to get that one to get them out. And you go, well, actually, the guys with people with 4, it's actually a bigger target. It's easier to hit to an extent.
And plus, when you're on 1, you know that they're looking at you, they're coming,
and you're dodging and working through it. Right. So, 3v3 freestyle, game 7.
This is it. Look at that.
Straight off the bat, first point on the board for Slender there. And another one for Slender as well, so it's 3 points to nothing as we come through. Slender definitely having turned this round from their performance during games 1 and 2 of this match. Still on to that boss on the board now, 3-1, 30 seconds played. 3-2. We're watching the standard pattern again. That early Rockhoppers lead and then the sort of game denial from the boss. 4-3. Rockhoppers still on a single point lead. Heavy fire coming in on their rear players at this stage though. 5-4. 6-4. Just need a little bit more lead. We've seen the boss pulls back from 2 to 3 points down several times in this sequence of games. Just 1 point in, that's really dangerous again from these last 15 seconds. We were expecting to see another acceleration from the boss. Great dodging in that back corner though, but could only last so long against that much firepower. 6 points apiece, 2 seconds to play. Fantastic final dying second score there from Rockhoppers. Finishing this off as 3 games to 4 in favour of the boss. So an overall match win to the boss. Very nice play there, though, from both sides, and some really, really good evasion work under heavy, heavy fire being shown on both sides at various points during that.
All fairly equal.
Yeah, all pretty equal. Fairly good range of contact. Even Noob there, not who, although didn't score. You're off the black screen, that's not very helpful. We're professionals, you know. And so moving on to the replay on this one.
Watch this, just one.
Yeah, beautiful straight shot.
2 and 3 points straight away.
Yeah. It was a real good opening blast. But again, the fact that the boss are fighting back from that initial knockdown, they're not getting phased by this in any way at all. And each time it's a constant pattern all the way through this match. That early sort of confident, aggressive positioning from Rockhoppers, taking that early lead, looking like they're controlling the game, and then having the boss just absolutely hammer it back as we come to that second half, especially into the final 15 seconds.
This shouldn't be happening. Well, I mean, fair play to the boss.
And so it's what we see with IDK as well. If they're put under pressure, really put under pressure in the games, 1, they're okay with it, and 2, you get this huge pick of pace in the last 15 seconds. So you've got to be in a significant point score advantage, or you've got to be throwing shields at left, right, and centre to break the flow of that attack as you come into those last few seconds. And yeah, another one looking like it's going to go to overtime, and there's that fantastic dying seconds point score there by Rockhoppers.
Very well done by both teams. The boss starting off really strong, but then Rockhoppers getting a few points towards the last couple of games. Very well done.
Yeah, nice play all round. So that is game 2. We're getting ready to sort out Game 3 very soon. And as ever, do all the good things. Subscribe, share, tell your friends. Come play HADO. We'll see you at HADO Arena Coventry and on court soon.